I'm what they call a hereditary or traditional witch, and what that means is a lot of people identify me as a Wiccan, but I'm not really a Wiccan per se. I was a Gardnerian, but I also practice Strega, and I do both. I was a solitary witch for a long time since I started in 1974 when I was around 10, just before my 10th birthday. I joined a coven back in 1990, actually 1990, in Eugene. I belonged to the Woodhard Welt coven back then. Um, right now, I'm forming a new coven the last 2 years, and it's called the Blue Sword Coven. And right now, I have two elders that I'm currently training. And after that, then we're going to open it up to people that are interested in becoming initiates or finding out information about the coven itself. It takes a lot. I've been writing the bylaws now for months, just the bylaws itself. Um, by the bylaws, I mean like the rules of the coven, how to treat everybody fairly, but yet have a system where if something doesn't work out for the coven or individual member, there's a process that we go through to either get them on track, or if they don't feel comfortable with the coven or the coven doesn't feel comfortable with them, because you know as well as I do that we're a different religion. We don't go out, we don't proselytize, we don't recruit, so we're selective in our members because you have to have that perfect balance. So the bylaws have to be really, really just, real fair, but not so complex that they want to scare a prospective, prospective pagan or prospective witch away with those. We're looking for somebody that obviously wants to be in a training coven because that will have new members. People that are interested in nature-based healing, coven members that can bring even gifts themselves. Maybe they have a certain experience or knowledge that they want to bring in, or they've been a pagan or a witch for quite a long while. That experience that'd be great to absorb, but also the beginner as well. But I'd like to see a lot more government agencies take it serious as a spirituality, not just we have to offer it. For an example, like the state, in the corrections facilities, they have to offer it since it's a recognized religion to the inmates, but yet a lot of the staff and members themselves, they don't have a full understanding of it. So I'd like to get a more broader perspective where everybody has a great knowledge of it instead of what they see on TV. Um, there's an organization that I belong to called the Heart of Willamette Pagans. There's a group in Portland called Witches of Cascadia, different groups like that. I belong to a group called the Officers of Avalon, which is a pagan group for first responders, specifically like police, fire, and ambulance, military officials. And that was started quite a few years ago. And that's like a national agency. But I believe local activism, different open festivals, open circles, different kind of pride days, that kind of stuff. I think spirituality tolerance is going to be the big one, and that's been going on for not only hundreds of years but thousands of years. One religion or spiritual path, the ones that think that their only path is the true path and that everybody else's spirituality or way of thinking is not correct. I think there needs to be a harmony and an open-mindedness that people need to realize that other people have other spiritual and religious paths, and that you can think in your own heart that your path and your spirituality is right for you, but you have to understand it might not be right for another community, another people, another individual. The clergy, which is everybody, participates with all the people that are there within the ritual, and even observers, we try to get them in. It's not like when you go to a church and you listen to a pastor speak for a couple hours and you don't participate, you're just a spectator. Well, paganism isn't really a spectator faith. It's an active, very involved religion. It's a hard religion. It's real difficult. If people go what they see in the movies or on TV, that's not what it is. It takes a lot of studying. It takes learning ritual. It takes working magic, whether it be through changes that you're doing through spell work or constant ritual or divination. A lot of times I'm controversial because I don't believe that a person should take like a beginning Wicca class or beginning divination class and within months start teaching that. That's where I get controversial and sometimes I anger people, because I believe that if you don't have qualified people to teach the faith and teach different techniques, the spirituality won't be taken serious later. It's not a how do you do over the night, you know, send away for a course and in a couple weeks you're, you know, ready to teach it, ready to teach the beliefs, the different deities, just the techniques itself, because it can be dangerous doing that. What I would say is research on the internet different authors that have been around for a long time, well established. I'd also have people search different websites for different covens and groups. It doesn't have to be a coven per se. It can be a druid like a grove. It could be metaphysical groups. One way to find out is your different metaphysical stores on bulletin boards will advertise different circles, different groups that are forming. You can go on the internet and go on Meetup and just search the internet for different groups. There's a popular website called witchvox.com. I believe that's how you contacted me. That's a really good source for finding open groups and open instructors that are open to it. I'm not an officer. I am a liaison for the local police departments here in Marion County on religious crimes. They also contact me because I'm also a sensitive. They contact me for calls that go into 911 and business calls for people that think their houses are haunted. It takes a lot of calls to the police department before they call me, because police departments don't normally respond to those kind of calls. So, but I have been called by several departments to go and see if I could go do that on a volunteer basis, to see if I could feel or sense spirits, explain to people what a spirit or a ghost is, whether it's harmful or not harmful, that sort of thing. And then I've also